Yeah. He was. It was me and another guy, Andy, and we were driving around rural Connecticut looking for his house, and we finally found it. We went up the driveway. There was a house and a beautiful garden and a little guest house at the bottom of the garden, and we rang the bell, sort of expecting a staff member or so, I don't know, somebody to
Yeah.
turn up. The door opened, and
Housekeeper.
yeah, and there's Christopher Walken, and I
Oh,
sort of put my hand
Wow.
out and say, "Oh, hello, I'm Jack," and he goes, "Chris," and the three of us. He walked us down to the guest house. We sat. He just wanted to know where we were going to sit. He went off to get smartened up, and then he came back, and the three of us sat there. I think his publicist had said we could have like half an hour tops. That was it. And we got to the end of the half hour, and I said, "Chris, thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing." And he said, "Have you got more questions?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but we were only supposed to have half an hour." He said, "No, I'm enjoying myself. Keep going." So we ended
oh,
up sitting there for
Oh.
another like 45 minutes, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, that was one of
Fantastic.
those days we came out and just looked at each other and couldn't quite believe that had just happened.
No.
Terrible tragedy. I just want a name.
So he had a day off from that and very kindly agreed to let us come and interview him. And I've got headphones on because I'm monitoring the sound while we're filming. And so I'd been asking him about, because Roger had wrestled with how to deliver the famous line, "My name's Bond, James Bond." And as Pierce started to talk about what it's like being an actor, having to do that and practicing it, and right in my ears, I'm getting Pierce Brosnan saying, "My name's Bond, James Bond." And I
wow.
was literally, the hairs on the back of my neck were
It must be
standing up.
really arousing as well, I thought. Even as grown
As a,
men.
yes, exactly. There's something, I don't know, it hits something deep in the cerebral cortex that,
Yeah.
it was amazing. He looked incredible as well. Pierce, when he turned up, I was stood outside where we were filming, and I could see him walking towards me. And
Yeah.
I went, "Pierce, you look amazing." And he went, "I am amazing."
Ah!
Ingenious!
Um, so there is a narrator that's kind
Hmm.
of telling the story of Roger and weaving it in through like the autobiographies and things like that and the anecdotes. Was that something that you had as an idea to begin with, or did that idea present itself after the interviews and in the editing bay?
No, that was the narrator. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who it is. I think we're supposed to keep that one a secret,
That's
but
it. We'll keep it a secret. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, but that was pretty much the first idea I had.
Oh, right.
As soon as I came on board, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get that guy to do
Mm,
Roger Moore? Because
yeah.
I wanted to tell it in the first person. I just think I just thought if we had a sort of omniscient narrator, third person, it wouldn't quite um, it wouldn't have quite the same. You wouldn't draw the audience in the same way and be able to make those jokes, those kind of classic Roger Moore dad jokes, basically, that he was renowned for. And so yeah, but what I did was I held off on asking um, the narrator's agent
Mm,
until we had a cut together that I could actually send him and show him,
right.
um, because I just didn't want to. I really, really, really wanted him to do it, and amazingly, he said yes. And he not only said yes, but he waived his fee. He gave his fee to charity, um,
Oh, that's
for the love
great.
of for the love
It
of Roger.
is.
Man talk.
Did you find
Mm.
that when putting it together as well, that the women were really the centrifuge to everything that was orbiting Roger at that time?
Definitely. I mean, I think we sort of came up with this central idea, really, which is that he built a persona for himself, and it's not entirely my confection. I mean, there was an interview that he did quite late in his life, and I think it was for a documentary about Dorothy Squires. But he said, I spent weeks digging through all kinds of archive, watching stuff from not only UK television but from America and European TV clips. And when I came across this one, it really it sort of unlocked something for me. And he says um, about Dorothy Squires, he said, from the time I met Dot, I began developing a persona. I'd been very nervous and timid, and she gave me that confidence. And he said, I suppose I became somebody called Roger Moore.
Mm.
And that for me was like a sort of light bulb moment, that he built this persona for himself and ended up seducing the world with it, you know?
Mm.
And so I think he definitely took that from Dot Squires. You know, when he met her, he was in his early 20s. He was doing modeling knitting patterns and getting occasional roles as a film extra. And she was a big star in the world of sort of variety, and had connections in America, and you know, took him over there, persuaded him to, you know, get his teeth done. She basically said, you know, you're a handsome guy. They love handsome guys in America. America's where you need to be.
Mm.
And so she, I think as she put it, you know, I opened doors for him. He had to walk through them himself. And so he definitely learned a lot from her. And I think from Louisa, he probably got a stability in his life, because he was, when they met, he was doing the Saint, or it's just before he got the Saint, sorry. And his fame was growing, but he essentially, he was a really decent man that he had these kind of wartime working class values instilled in him by his parents. You know, he was a working class boy from South London, and I think as his fame grew, he never forgot where he came from, and I think Louisa provided a stability for him, and also, you know, gave him three beautiful children,
Mm.
because he was very much a family. I really hope people take that away from the film, of just how much a family man he was, because he was a great dad. His kids all loved him, and yes, although he was married four times, I mean, he led a long life, an interesting life, but he was still on very good terms, with his ex-wives. You know,
Mm. Mm.
in fact, Dorothy Squires. Well, we say in the film that, you know, he called her up when she was on death's door, and had a conversation with her. What we didn't manage to squeeze in was that he actually paid for her hospital fees.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, when she was ill in the latter stages of her life, and she'd kind of fallen on hard times. But yeah, Roger paid for her bupa
That's
bills.
amazing.
That's
Yeah,
isn't that
That's
the
what he was. That's what he was like. You know, that's just
exactly.
sums him up.